All right. Am I assuming you can hear me? But you can't see me, right? Or can you? We can see you. How come I can't see you? And you obviously can hear me. Or can you hear me too, Rich? You need better glasses. Yeah. All right. So you can see me and hear me. Perfectly framed. Yes, you can see me and hear me. Okay. Well, for some reason, I'm not coming up on my own computer here in the house. But if you can see me and hear me, that's all that's important, because I certainly don't need to look at myself. There I am. Okay. Turn that down so I'm not echoing. And good morning. It is April Fool's Day, 2010. And April Fool's Day is Kathy Lutz Dusenberry's birthday. And Kathy Lutz Dusenberry is a big deal in Kansas City politics. She is and they call it something different down there, but it's like Board of Supervisors for the county that Kansas City primarily sits in. She used to be the mayor of a small community, a community like the size of Urbandale, and then she got elected to a big Board of Supervisor kind of job. And Kathy and I have always been just the best of friends. Even though we don't talk often, we just seem to catch up. And Kathy and I, when we were probably 5 years old, posed for a Valentine's commercial that was being done in the Beatrice Daily Sun. And so we were both holding this Valentine and looking at each other. And it was just the most, I guess it was cute. It was fun. And that year at her birthday party, she would tell you that I came over to her birthday party and I opened all of her presents. that she always has that memory. I don't think there's a person that she's ever introduced me to in Kansas City or wherever we are where she didn't say, oh, at my 5th birthday or 6th birthday, whatever it was, Mac opened up all my presents for me. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Happy birthday to you, my love. All right. What I've got here is I've got my laptop. That's this right here, and it's broadcasting. And then over here, this away, I'm in my wife's office at home, and I have the computer up and running, so I can see the tech, so I can talk back with you on the chat, because Monday I couldn't do that. So I appreciate you taking the time to log in today, and I'll give you some updates, and then I want to talk about 3 or 4 things today. I'm not going to do until we get back into a studio, Mac's World will probably only be part of 9 to 11 a.m. It might be 10 to 11, it might be 9 to 10, etc. like that. But I'll try to log in most mornings at 9 o'clock and spend some time with you. And then we will also be posting, we will start to once again post the full-length shows on the MaxWorldLive.com website, along with some blogs. So the website that used to be for the old Des Moines Local Live, which is the original website, is just going to be my show page, my website for MaxWorldLive.com. Because as of right now, that's all we've got. We've just got MaxWorldLive.com. And later on, next week or something like that, we hope to announce the beginning of something really cool. But one of the things that happened over the last year with this project, for whatever varied reasons, no one's to blame. I'll take all the responsibility. I'll take all the responsibility for everything. You know, there's a lot of he said, she said flying around, and I really hate that, and I hope I'm not contributing to that. So I'll just take responsibility for everything. I'll just be the bad guy here. Whatever they say I did, fine. I I murdered 75 people on a roadside in Cancun the other day because I'm involved in Mexican drug running. I was the shoe bomber. I was the shoe bomber. I know that he looked different, but I was the shoe bomber. The courthouse in Oklahoma City. I'm sorry. You know, I just hate those Oklahomans. Those Sooners, they just piss me off. Being a Cornhusker, can't stand those Sooners. So, and and remember the guy that rode saying the British are coming, the British are coming? Yeah, that's me. I was that traitor too. So whatever is said, just say, yeah, Mac's taking full responsibility. It's all my fault. And oh, by the way, I'm going to raise the level of Sailorville Lake so we have some minor flooding on Walnut Creek. I'm going to do that. My deal. I'm doing that. So anyway, all right. Yeah, Jenny, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody else is saying, okay, there's Jennifer Better now. All right. So anyway, I take full responsibility for everything. But one of the things that I think that I want to do differently in the future is I want to be more methodical. I want to set a plan and not allow it to be changed. Everybody get in on the same page, have the same goals, know the direction we're going to go, and then not stray from it like was done in the past. I'll take responsibility for it. And by the way, Flight 232 in Sioux City 10 years ago, yeah, I screwed up the hydraulics. My bad. So we're not going to talk about a lot of stuff that we're doing until we really understand how we're going to do it and who's involved, and that's the way I've always done things. You know, Kitty's hasn't been here for 11 years. You know, we didn't build JJY for all those years, 10 years, almost 11 years. We didn't build some of the things we built in this company or in my life without doing it carefully and methodically and following a plan. And that doesn't mean those plans don't change because of opportunity, but I think the term "at a whim" is not a term that should be used in business. And so for right now, it's you and me. And as time goes on, I think there are going to be some other people involved in this project. And we'll have a studio, and we'll have a lot of fun. And most importantly, we'll get together and we'll share our passions. And we will do really great webcasting. I figured out that it's not radio, it's not TV, it's webcasting. And so, oh, not true. Yeah, Bob, that's true. You were there. You were there. Are you responsible for the... I am, Mau Mau. I'm the guy that leaned over to the athletic director at Nebraska, and I said, hey, Callahan, there's nobody that could screw up a team worse than Callahan. Look what he did to the Raiders. Get him in here quick. Wasn't it the Raiders? Anyway. So, yeah, I just think I want to become the poster child for anything that ever happened that was wrong. Because it just amazes me of the things that people can blame you for. Little sarcasm? Little? Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna do a good job of placing things on Facebook and kind of letting you know what we're going to talk about. You know, I'm a local guy. I like local. I tried to do that national syndicated show stuff, and I think I was okay to do it. I mean, I think I could do it, but I don't want to talk about Obama all day long. I don't want to talk about national health care all day long. I want to talk about where you and I live. You know, somebody asked me the other day, what's your show about? And I said, it's my perception of your world. Okay? It's Mau Mau's world. It's Jennifer's world. It's Rich's world. It's Lonzo's world. You know? It's your world as seen through my eyes. And that's why I call it Mac's World. And how often am I right? I don't know if I go for right or wrong. I think I go for just information. I try not to tell you how to think or My wife and I have a thing that we do in our marriage. We try to tell each other what we try not to tell each other what we should do. The word should is a word we try to use out of our vocabulary. You know, you should try to get home by 7 so we could have an early dinner. So I try not to tell you the shoulds in life. I try to just kind of make you go, what's that about? I've always said that this show is about commentating, not journalism. I'm a journalist by trade, but when you become a talk radio host or television talk host, you really have to lay the journalist thing aside if you're going to give comment. And you know who did this first for us was Paul Harvey. I mean, it was Paul Harvey back in, the 60s who started doing this program on ABC radio at noon every day. And then it got bumped to 11, so it could be played at noon on the East Coast because he was a Chicago guy. And he was the one that said, I can't call this Paul Harvey News. He said, I have to call it Paul Harvey News and Comment because it's not fair to my fellow journalists to try to cheapen what they're doing by saying my personal view or comment is journalistic based. I may gather my information as a journalist. I certainly have some integrity and codes that I follow based on the laws of journalism. Not the laws, but the boundaries of journalism, the integrity that goes with journalism. But, this is news and comment. And so that's kind of what Mac's World is. I reflect what you see. Think about that. Pastor Mike and I last year did several shows on our spiritual gifts. And he rattled off several for me, and I was always humbled by that. But one of the gifts he told me that I have, and I'm not saying just because the pastor says I have it, I got it, because his word isn't always golden. Mike, I'm sorry. Yes, it is. You're always right, Mike. Mike's on the Mike's listening today. Love you, buddy. Monday, Thursday was the gift of reflection. And I said, what the heck is that? Isn't that some new age wussy term that people sit in the corner with their legs crossed like, Indian style, and I'm going to reflect on the world? He said, no. He said, and I really appreciated this from him. He said that I reflect the way people see things, and I reflect it back to them. Not trying to change their minds, not trying to be demonstrative, not trying to be tell you how you should see yourself, just kind of informing you how maybe I see things. And again, my view is no different than anybody else's. I just choose to take the time on a daily basis inside of Mac's World, and have for 33 years this July, reflect it back to you. So I thought Mike was really good when he said that. I thought that was always really good for Mike to say that. And so I appreciate him in so many ways. But that's a very gentle way of looking at what this show is all about. I'm really just reflecting the world through your eyes, and asking you to consider other options of what goes on. Jennifer says, what does Monday mean? Monday means day of reflection. Now that we're speaking of reflection, I'm pretty sure of that. But Monday means day of reflection because it is the day that Jesus got all of his disciples together, and it was the day of the Last Supper. And it was the day of communion. It was the day when Jesus said, drink this cup of wine, for it is the blood that I will shed for you on this day. And take this piece of bread, and it represents my body that I have sacrificed so that you may have everlasting life. So Maundy, Thursday, in some denominations, Jennifer, it's called the Upper Room Day. No, the day Christ was nailed to the cross is Good Friday, which is really bizarre. We call it Good Friday. Really? Yeah. Good? Well, the outcome was good. That day wasn't such a good day. But anyway, that's what Maundy means. Maundy is I believe it's a Hebrew word for reflection. And it's that famous picture. It's that famous picture that we all have of Jesus standing up in the middle with his 12 disciples. And if you listen to, who was it that said the one was actually Mary Magdalene sitting to Jesus' right? Didn't that have something to do with, that movie that Tom Hanks was in? I can't remember. My daughter thought they just misspelled Monday. Yeah, that's good. No, that's what Monday is. So we have church services tonight, and we celebrate Jesus inventing communion. Now, I don't want to be unfair to my Jewish friends. I'd be curious to see what Michael Libby. Michael, if you're on the line, did Jesus invent communion then through Maundy, Thursday, or was there communion before that? I don't know. I feel so terrible. Jewish people don't have communion. No, right? Okay, I don't know. That's why we have youth in the pew, so I learn these things. All right. And of course, the other thing is, I don't have any of my audio pieces. They all say Des Moines Local Live, and they should only say Max World because that's the show. We don't have an identification yet for the overall project, so I don't have commercials to run. So every once in a while, when I need to just take a break and get a breather, I'm going to do this. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to put a piece of paper over the camera, and that'll give me an opportunity to go do what I need to do. I did lead the dogs out today. And because the last time we did this, last time we broadcast from home, not Monday, but before, my dogs just thought it was pretty interesting that I was sitting in a room talking to nobody. Come to think of it, they should be used to that by now. But anyway, and so Picasso and Sinatra, for some reason, thought I needed company and were jumping on my lap and doing all that. So they're outside playing today, and I think they're pretty happy outside playing today, given the weather and given the weather and everything that's going on out there. It's going to be a beautiful day today, and then we're going to get rain. We were going to take our grandkids to the Living History Farms Easter egg hunt on Saturday morning, and I think the rain's coming down. And my 11-year-old's really happy about that anyway, because he says he's too old for Easter egg hunts. Really? Is that part of getting old? Is that I want to do the things I did when I was a kid again? I mean, I want to color eggs this weekend. I want to hard boil a bunch of eggs. I want to go buy that crappy little egg dyeing kit. Remember that? It had a picture of the little chicken on it, yellow box with a little wire that you bend and you drop the eggs down into the little cups of dye you make, and you got the wax crayon that you can draw on, and so then the dye won't put on that, so you can put names or decorations or... I want to do that. But my 11-year-old grandson Alex has informed me that he's now... This is great. I love this. He's preteen, and he's just beyond some of that. What was the one the other day that he was beyond? He was preteen, so he couldn't do something. I shared it with you. I don't remember what it is now. But anyway, just as a father watches his children grow and grow out of and grow beyond some activities, maybe that's the whole definition of getting old. Now you repeat it again with your grandkids. Because I've got an 11-year-old, Alex, who, is kind of beyond some of this stuff, and Sydney, who's 5, is just so into this. Oh, here, I can show you pictures. Here. Is that a good picture? Hold on, let me get it down a little bit for you. Okay, and the reflection. I'm trying to get the reflection so it's not there. Anyway, Alex is the one on your right as you're looking at it. Luke is on the left, and Miss Sydney is in the middle. And those are my great-grandkids. Not great-grandkids, those are my awesome grandkids. So anyway, so Saturday morning, the idea was we'd go to Living History Farms and do the Easter egg hunt, but if it's raining, we're not going to do that. So the weather is surely nice. The dogs are outside playing. It's kind of funny. I'm running into my neighbors now. Why is it so hard to be neighborly during the winter? I mean, you think back in the old days of the Waltons or Little House on the Prairie. Didn't they go visit friends in the middle of the winter? Didn't you walk on down and take something warm to eat? We don't do that anymore, do we? I mean, I've said more to my neighbors in the last, I'm serious, I've said more to my neighbors in the last, let's say, week or less than I probably did all winter long. I mean, we waved at each other, you know, but see, nobody walked to the mailbox. Remember, I live in an association, so we have a mailbox, which is what I call the bus stop, and it happens to be in front of my house. I don't know why. I wish I could change that. So you kind of meet there, and you know, you see somebody else walk into the mailbox. Everybody knows what time the mailman comes, and so you know, you kind of meet at the mailbox, and you know, it's Mayberry RFD, and I love every minute of it, and I hope you do too. If you're beyond that type of company, that type of neighborhood, that type of relationship where every once in a while you just sit on the front porch and sip some iced tea or lemonade and talk about stuff that's going on. I mean, isn't that what we're kind of doing here? Don't we all just get together? I don't have iced tea. I've got my ice water here. I didn't even make fresh tea today. But isn't that what we're doing? We're just kind of sitting here on the front porch. Mau Mau, I don't know what you're drinking. You're probably drinking hot coffee. Jenny, what are you drinking? You know? We are buying chicks this weekend. We're going to have backyard chickens. Are you serious? Can you have chickens in the city limit? Anyway, Mau Mau's got his coffee. Yep, Jennifer's got her root beer. You can have up to 50 chickens inside the city limit. Go for it. Go for it. Now, are you gonna like let them get big and fat and then go butcher them, chop their heads off, and watch their bodies run around, and then you're gonna cook them? Are you gonna cook Betsy the chicken? Yes, she says they are. I'll buy some of your range-free chicken. All right. Oh, and get layers 2 for eggs. Okay, I got to be careful here. I'm assuming that some chickens are layers and some aren't. So the boy chickens aren't layers, is that right? And the girl chickens lay. And how do the boy chickens? Oh well, never mind. It's too confusing for me. Besides that, if you tell me, then when my granddaughter says, "Grandpa, how do chickens lay eggs?" I can just say, "I don't know. I'll send them to Jennifer. Sydney, meet Jennifer. Jennifer, meet Sydney. This is the chicken lady." Ooh, Jennifer, you realize I could do that to you? I could forevermore. Ooh, maybe I will. Have I just done that? Mau Mau, have we just done that? Have we just nicknamed Jennifer the chicken lady? I think so. I see a new tweet coming. No, Jennifer says, you're not supposed to eat the ones you have to lay eggs. Okay. That reminds me of a joke. Oh, can I tell this? It's not a bad joke. Is this a joke? I can tell. Okay, I think I can tell this one. I think this is okay to tell. If you've got young children in the room, you might want them to send them to get another cup of tea or something. And by the way, Dwayne, are you drinking hot tea or cold tea? I'm just curious. And are you a tea snob like me, or do you just get out the good old Nest tea and the Lipton and soak them in the bags? Because I've become a tea snob. I admit it. I'm not a snob about too many things. I have become a tea snob. I know the difference between what you have in your Lipton tea and what I have in my milk tea. And I don't mean milk as in white milk. That's just a kind of a tea. Mau Mau is that mad cow disease. Hot, real tea. Oh, good for you, Adele. Hey, listen, Dwayne. Anytime you want to share some good teas, let me know. I go buy little envelopes of them, probably 4 to 5 cups per envelope, and I buy like 20 different kinds, and then I try them. And if I don't like them, there's nothing I can do with them, so I give them to you if you want, or I can tell you the ones that are good too. All right. But Jennifer, how do you know? How do you know which chickens lay eggs and which don't? Do girl chickens lay eggs, or do boy chickens lay eggs too? Do hens? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I probably got that wrong. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into chickens. So anyways, do I tell you the joke? I'm going to tell you the joke. Traveling salesman. Car breaks down in the middle of the country. And he walks up to the house, and this beautiful woman answers the door, just like Jennifer. Beautiful woman. And she says, well, hi there. What's your name? And he says, my name's Bob, and my car broke down, and I'm looking for some place to stay tonight. And the girl says, well, you can stay here. And boom, out comes the father around the corner. He said, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm a traveling salesman, and my car broke down, and I'm looking for some place to stay, and your lovely daughter just told me I could stay here. She did she? Well, I'll tell you what. You can stay here, but don't you go into my daughter's bedroom and try to fool around with her, because that's unacceptable. Oh, sir, I wouldn't do that at all. Meanwhile, the girl, is kind of looking at him and giving him that eye and kind of winking at him, coming on to him. So after the daughter falls asleep at night and the traveling salesman goes to his room, the father goes in and puts an egg on the girl's tummy, because he knows then if anybody comes in and disturbs her, I know, she only sleeps on her back. We just have to assume that. We have to assume that she only sleeps on her back. Seriously, the joke doesn't work if you go, well, what happens when she rolls over? Okay, that's not part of the joke. The girl only sleeps on her back. So, the father lays an egg on her belly button, because if anybody comes in and disturbs her in the middle of the night, he knows that egg will be broken. So, guy comes in and crawls under the covers, does a little nasty with the daughter, and when they get done, he realizes he's got egg yolk and everything all over him. She goes, oh my gosh, my dad must have put there to see if somebody would come in and disturb me. We've got to do something about this. So the daughter goes down, gets a brand new egg, puts a pinhole in it, sucks all the stuff out of it. You know how you can do that? You do that with Easter eggs. And then places it back on her stomach and goes to sleep. So in the morning, the father tiptoes in before the daughter's awake, takes the egg and goes, good, good. The traveling salesman did what he said he was going to do. So the father takes the egg, goes into the kitchen, cracks it on the side of the frying pan because he's going to cook it up, and nothing comes out. Okay, what's the punchline, guys? What's the punchline? You know what it is? I'm watching the chat here. You know what the punchline is? Somebody, come on. No, Lonzo doesn't. Okay. Anybody else got an idea what the punchline is? The father goes in, finds the egg undisturbed, says, oh, that's great, the traveling salesman was trustworthy, goes out, hits it on the side of the frying pan to have a fried egg, and nothing comes out. What does the father say? He marches into the hen house and says, all right, which one of you chickens have been using birth control? No? Not funny? Really? Baba-ding. All right. All right. So, let's get serious for a moment. I put a story up on Facebook about an 11-year-old boy in Pennsylvania. His name is Jordan Brown. His dad had gotten a divorce from his mother, and he had met a young woman by the name of Kenzie Health, H-E-A-L-T-H, and Kenzie was expecting she was expecting a child, and the father of that child was the boy's father. And although a lot of details haven't come out yet, we don't know why this is. We can assume a couple of things. We could also assume some things that are really bad. We could assume domestic abuse. We could assume that she was abusive to the boy physically. We could assume that for some reason it was self-defense. That'll all be proven in a court of law. I'm not here to talk about that. But he took a shotgun that his dad had just gotten for him for Christmas and walked up to her while she lay face down in the bed sleeping and literally blew her head off. Terrible thing. Tragic. This story goes 100 different ways from here. The story You can go to, was the child abused? Was the child, what's the word I want? Not paid any attention to? Did the child feel like he was being left out? The woman, Kensley Health, had two other daughters, ages 6 and ages 4. And so maybe Jordan felt like he was, getting pushed out. A whole bunch of new girls moving into the house, and daddy's all happy because she's pregnant. And who knows? Who knows? You could go down the path. I saw somebody put on my Facebook page today. You could go down the path of what the hell is a father giving an 11-year-old boy a shotgun for Christmas for? Well, if you're an outdoorsman and you're a hunter, it makes a difference. You teach your kids to hunt and fish and do that in the beginning. You teach them to do that. So we're not going to go down that road. You know what road I'm going to go down. Some people are saying that, in fact, in Pennsylvania, the law says that this child has to be tried as an adult because there's a first-degree murder. I mean, at this point, he's not claiming that he slipped. He's not claiming he was, quote-unquote, cleaning the gun when it went off. He hasn't claimed anything. But at this point, he's been charged with first-degree murder. Now, the thing that becomes interesting for me is how many counts of first-degree murder should he be charged with? Well, I guess it depends on who you ask. And here comes the slippery slope, ladies and gentlemen. Music cue. Because the liberals and those people that are pro-choice tell you that that's not a life yet. Right? If I start to get red-faced, let me know, because I'm pretty passionate about this. The liberals will tell you that that's not a life yet, and so if the mother and or father choose to have that child aborted, that's the word they use. I don't know where we got aborted. I just think murder is a good word. Isn't murder the right word? They choose to murder their unborn child? Okay. I'll use the politically correct term of abortion. Do they have a new one? Extract? I'm sure they'll come up with that one. Global warming didn't work, so now we have climate change. Never mind. Don't even get me going down that road. So why is this young man in the state of Pennsylvania being charged with a double homicide? When if the day before that woman had gone to a doctor and said, murder my child, neither the doctor nor the mother would have been held legally accountable. Is it terrible that Jordan shot and killed his stepmother and unborn child? Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. Holy Toledo. We just went through this in the last year up at Parkersburg. With Ed Thomas and Mark Becker. Does this boy have some issues? Yeah, I think so. Unless for some reason Daddy taught him that it's okay to kill people with a shotgun. And who knows what the father told him, though. Who knows what the boy had been taught. I just don't understand how a justice system, now I'm speaking of the arm of our country called the justice system. How can the justice system, you guys on the chat, stick with stick with what we're doing here, would you? Can we just please let it go, please? Nobody else needs to get hurt. Okay, there's a lot of good people trying to do passionate radio. Character assassinations aren't necessary. The truth will always come out. It will rise to the top. Let's just all sit back and watch, and it'll rise to the top. Okay, thank you. My problem is that the arm of our government called the justice system somehow finds it acceptable that when a woman and a doctor abort or murder an unborn child, it's legal. because it's not a person yet. It has no rights. It does not have the right to be represented by a lawyer in a court of law. It has no rights. But yet, it's terrible. Taking the life of anyone is terrible. Remember, I'm not only against abortion, I'm against the death penalty. I am one of those guys who is not a hypocrite when it comes to this subject. I'm sure I have hypocrisy in other places in my life, but this is not one of them. I clearly understand that you don't take a life under any circumstances. Thou shalt not kill. I just know it's in the top 10. So how does a doctor who's taken what is it called? The critical oath? No, what's it called? Guys, what's it called that the doctor takes? The critical oath? Anyway, is it the hypocritical oath? Anyway, Hippocratic. Thanks, Rich. The Hippocratic oath, to do whatever it takes to preserve life. That's what that oath is. I, as a doctor, will do whatever it takes to preserve life. Now uses that medical license to kill an unborn child, because somehow our justice system has decided that you can have it both ways. That if mama wakes up one morning and finds out she's pregnant because she opened her legs to the wrong guy and she doesn't like it, I don't even know what an abortion costs. I'll be honest with you. I'm lucky. I've never had to pay for one. $300-400? I don't know. You go down to the baby killing machine down there called Planned Parenthood. What do they charge you? $500-600? I don't know. For a fee, you can betray. There's my buzzword for the week. You can betray God's desire to give you a child for a fee, for money, for gold pieces. Just as Judas betrayed Jesus. Okay, I got to be careful here. Got to get off that word, folks. Buzzword this week. For a fee, a doctor will find it okay to betray the hypocritical oath that he took. How have we done this in this country? Isn't Orc from Mork up there looking down on us going, Nanu, Nanu, no. How? What? What? Woman says, I don't want to be pregnant. The most incredible gift on the face of this earth. For those of you who are parents, you know what I'm talking about. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it? And I don't. Having a baby is so far above my pay grade. Okay, I've heard guys. It's really funny. I've heard guys over at Kitty's or whatever. They'll be sucking down a bear. They just had a baby. Yeah, I was right there in that delivery room. I could have sat there and caught that baby myself. It wasn't that hard. She just took a couple of deep breaths and pushed. I heard her make noises like that before. Now come my baby. By God, we had a baby today. No, she had a baby. You got laid. Okay? Now, you're going to raise a baby for the rest of your life. But ladies, I will never take from you what you go through to have a baby. I can't imagine knowing that if I have unprotected sex with a person, that I might get pregnant, and then for 9 months I have no control over the fact that this thing is going to grow within me. This living being, this child is going to grow within me. And then at one point, it's going to say, hey, hello, time to come out, I'm ready. Kick, kick, elbow, elbow, squimp, squimps. Here, let me see if I can break this membrane thing here and crack. Oh, water all over the place. What the heck? Oh, getting dry in here. Must be my time to leave. It's Indiana Jones down the water chute. No, you know what that makes me think of? It makes me think of what was the movie with Michael Douglas and the gem, the stone, Romancing the Stone. They slid down. Yeah, anyway, right in the legs. All right. Not heard birth described that way, huh, Brad? Well, I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can. Anyway, I don't need to belabor the point. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I can't wait for so many reasons to be in heaven and sit with the angels, St. Peter. Hopefully God has little time for me. And for him to tell me how brokenhearted he was when people that he gave the gift and skill to heal people, doctors, and lawmakers that he gave the gift and skill of negotiation and leadership, and women who he gave the gift of life, to create life, and men who didn't want to be responsible for their 7 minutes of orgasm. I just can't imagine how sad that makes God. Isn't it the greatest sadness of all? Don't you think? It's got to be bigger than global warming, if in fact man has anything to do with that. It's got to be bigger than pornography. It's got to be bigger than taking the Lord's name in vain, getting mad and slipping and saying something bad, hitting your neighbor, not honoring your parents. Isn't reaching in with the skills and talent that God gave you to save lives? You go in and take a life on purpose? You know, for those of you that don't know this, I am not a far-right, gun-toting fanatic on abortion. I'm not against women having the right to make choices about their own body. The decision she should have made about her own body was not to spread her legs and get laid with unprotected sex. Sorry if I'm a little graphic here. Send the kids out of the room. That's the decision she made that was poor. That's her free will. To turn around and say, I'm not responsible for that, and choosing to do what I can't imagine God doesn't see as one of the ultimate sins. God will tell you that all sins are the same, and I'm with you on that. But I think there's some that make God a little sadder than others. You know what I mean, Fred? You know what I mean? When he gives the gift of life inside of a woman, and he gave that woman a man, so there's a man and woman to raise that child, and they go in and say, you know what, this isn't a priority to me right now. I'm going to end this. I'm not some right-wing freak when it comes to abortion. I'm a kid who was given up for adoption, who lived in an orphanage, was adopted by some amazing people, and then at 18 I found my biological mother. And in the course of many great conversations with this woman, she told me that in 1958, when she figured out she was pregnant, if it had been 1972 and Roe versus Wade had been the law, she would have aborted me. I was unwanted, I was unplanned, and I was unnecessary at that time. To that 18, 19-year-old girl, she was 18 when she conceived, 19 when she gave birth, I was a burden. I was a problem. I was going to mess up the rest of her life, and she had no part of me. So I understand how a woman can say, oops, gosh darn it, I didn't mean to get pregnant. That's where I'm coming from. I don't know how much closer to the breast it can be for someone who's against abortion. How? How can it get any? Don't I kind of have the right to talk about this subject, knowing that if the law of the land today was the law of the land when I was conceived, that I wouldn't be here, that I would have been whisked away like an unwanted tumor? If you disagree, that's okay. It's your voice I want to hear in Maxwell. But for right now, for what it's worth, think I got the platform. By the way, I am able to take phone calls in the most antiquated way there is, and that is that I can have you come in on my cell phone, my BlackBerry, and then I can put the speaker, I can put it on speaker, and I can put the speaker up by the microphone. And Thomas Allen told me the last time we did this that it worked great. So if you do want to call in and converse on this, you're welcome to do that. In fact, I'll put my cell phone. I don't mind putting my cell phone online. Everybody knows it anyway. So if anybody does want to make a comment, you're always welcome to. But that's the new Mac Home Studio line. All right, I am going to take about 3 minutes, if you don't mind. Just get up and stretch. And when we come back, I want to talk about Rice Field. I got a long email today. The school board is making the decision this week who they're going to sell Rice Field to. You may recall that's the old grounds when Rice Elementary sat on at the intersection of Beaver and Adams. And it's now a several-acre parcel that 3001 Beaver is the exact address. It's now an empty parcel that the people of Beaverdale and that part of our community would like to remain a green space. And the school board, who is in dire need of dollars anywhere they can find it, put that property in with 6 other properties a few years ago and decided to sell. And the price that they would get for all of the properties was just a little under $3 million. And when I look at it, if you pay a teacher, not enough by the way, but if you pay a teacher $50,000 a year, you divide that into $3 million, I think you're saving a lot of teachers and improving the education. Now, I used to live 4 blocks from Rice School. If Samantha had not gone to Des Moines Christian School, she would have gone to Rice Elementary. I know this building. It was the corner where I would turn off of Beaver, eastbound on Adams, to go down to my house that I lived in Beaverdale for almost 20 years. And I love green space, and I love parks, but I also love education and educating our youth. Where do you sit on it? Should the Des Moines School Board sell Rice Field to a developer, or should they keep it as green space? Give me about 3 minutes, and I'll come back. It is a gorgeous day. It's 12 minutes before the top of the hour, and you're listening to Mac's World live. And thanks for listening, because I love this job, and I couldn't do it without you, right here at MacsWorldLive.com. Now, I'm going to put the paper over. Well, you know what? I don't have to put the paper over the camera. I'll just let you look into the back of my wife's office. It isn't very interesting, but you can watch. I'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. Thanks for listening. Yeah, Alonzo, this is a commercial break. Without a commercial. Yep. No air pollution here. Later on, there was a interesting article in the newspaper on Sunday written by Danny, I think it's Mastio, M-A-S-T-I-O, He's the deputy editorial page editor at the Washington Times. And it shows a picture of Barack Obama standing on a stage waving at people with a big Iowa Hawkeye flag behind him. This is when he was in Iowa City at the Field House last Thursday. And the headline is, now remember, this is Washington Times. The headline is, remember, this is the President of the United States. This is a paper that sits in our capital city. And this is about a speech he gave in Iowa. The headline is, Obama dishes up lies in Iowa City. Wow. Wow. That's big, isn't it? Is it wrong? Is it right? Is it okay to say that? I guess it's okay to say it if it's true, right? Because if it's not true, then it's just character assassination. Ha! Seen a lot of that lately, haven't we? It's just character assassination, and it's, media and press and bleh, all that garbage that goes there. But if it's true, what a powerful headline. Obama dishes up lies in Iowa City. I'll tell you about that in a minute. All right. This is from a very well-written story by Jason Pulliam in the Des Moines Register. It was on March 16th, day before St. Patty's Day. There's that beautiful piece of ground at 3001 Beaver. If you live in our community or have ever lived in our community, you've driven by it at one point or another. It's about a block north of Christopher's Restaurant. If you're not in our community and you don't know Des Moines, just think of your own community. A neighborhood, children playing, people doing commerce back and forth, a little community of shops that allow neighbors to do business with neighbors, restaurants, coffee shops, a hardware store, a couple sandwich shops, UPS store, music store, clothing store. It's all right there. It's all right there in this little intersection at Beaverdale. You've got one in your community somewhere. It may be in Northern California. It may be off into the east. You may be living in another country, and you know the communities I'm talking about. It's where you literally see people walking and driving that are your neighbors. It's not, oh, ran into you at the mall, what a surprise. It's, yeah, I was just taking a walk with the kids. Came down to grab a cup of coffee. Needed a little can of paint to do some touch-up. Well, in that little community, somewhere is a building. And generations of children were educated in that building. It's an elementary school, it's a middle school, maybe it's a high school. But it's a place where families gather. It's a place where kids' lives were changed. It's a place where kids learn to get along with each other. It's a place where people shared highlights and the downtimes of their lives. It's where we first saw our children stand on a stage with their arms straight to their side, looking directly at the teacher, trying to sing the song they so carefully have memorized with their brand new shoes that kind of hurt because they don't get to wear them very often. And all dressed up because Mommy wanted them to look really grown up. It's a seersucker suit. It's a spring dress. It's an Easter dress. It's a Christmas sweater. It's families gathering together to watch children make Christmas cards and have a Christmas program. And for the first, but never the last, replay the scene of the manger. It's an Easter egg hunt. It's a Valentine's Day dance. It's graduation. Sometimes it's a sad place, because sometimes kids die, and mommies die, and daddies die. And so you share those memories, those feelings in your lives with each other through this building, through this place that you call home. You've got one in your community. So when I talk about Rice Field, you just imagine where it is I'm talking about. You imagine in your hometown what we're talking about, that place. Well, the Des Moines Public School System had 7 places like that. that they wanted to get rid of. They needed to sell. You may recall that Rice Field at one time had been sold. It was a group headed by a local business person who died, and so the sale didn't go through and it went back to the Des Moines Public Schools. The homeowners want to maintain the 4.4 acre Rice Field as park space, public park space. In this community that I'm speaking of, there is more green space per capita than anywhere else in our metropolitan area. Des Moines has set aside more green space, more park in the Beaverdale area than any other area in our community. Easter Lake might be the only exception. Otherwise, for a community with public parks, Ashby Park, Beaverdale Park, several other green spaces in that area. So it's not like, don't get the idea this is some big urban sprawl and there's this little teeny pot of ground that we need to preserve so, we still have some place so we can go to the kids. Look, this is grass. Mom and Daddy used to play on this when we were little. No, this is not an area that's going to be short of green space at any point in the near future. Do I like green space? I love green space. I love to take my dogs and play in green space. I love to throw frisbees at my dogs in green space. Yes, I actually have a dog that when you throw a frisbee, he'll jump, he'll catch it, and he'll bring it back. Amazing, isn't it? So I love green space. I'm not anti-green space. I'm not pro-development. A lot of different places we can build a lot of different things. Why do we have to have that piece of land to do that? I'm with you. I'm with you. The only green right now I'm concerned with is the green that I don't have in my back pocket called money. Yes, this is coming down to money. Because right now, the economy, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's in the toilet. And I don't see it getting much better. One of my companies is in the real estate business, and I'm surrounded by really good people, not only with that company, but other people that I know. Remax Real Estate Concepts is one of the best brokers. It's one of the best real estate companies in town. They sponsored our old studios downtown. I hope they'll sponsor our new ones. I hear from everybody. It's going to get better. We've got this new tax credit. If you're on my Facebook, you notice that we have a new promotion starting May 1 with Coldwell Banker, where you can get up to 3% credit paid by the seller to help you cover closing costs and other costs. It's not a cash reimbursement. It's a credit, just kind of like the tax credit is, only this credit goes towards your ability to pay closing costs, buy down loan points, and things like that. Could be up to $8,000 in some areas. So everybody's trying to make the housing market kick. Because when the housing market kicks, guess what? Everything goes with it. How the housing market goes, the economy goes. What started the failed economy? The housing market. The failure of well, it wasn't the failure, it was just greedy people who wanted to give loans to anybody under any conditions, whether you could afford it or not, put adjustable rate mortgages on them. So in the first 3 years, your payment's $785, and then after 3 years it goes to $1,500, and you get upside down, and you have a short sale if you're lucky, or you foreclose. This is the new normal, guys. I don't know how long I'm going to live, but I don't think I'll ever see the boom of the 80s and 90s again. Maybe I will, maybe, but I'm not counting on it. This is the new normal. And the one important thing that we have to provide with our tax dollars is safety, police, fire, EMS, government-controlled military, so that we are kept safe from invaders, both foreign and domestic, and education. Now, and we won't get into this right now, somehow the fourth thing has now been put on health care. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I know it started 50, 60 years ago with Medicare and Medicaid. I don't know if you realize this, but Obama just continued a bad thing. Medicare and Medicaid started the socialization of American medicine. The new health bill just continues it for the next 15 years. But the third most important thing is the education of our youth and our children. That we deem could be done privately in your home. It could be done privately amongst other kids in a private school, or it could be done in a public school. And I don't know what more important there is than those three things: local safety and infrastructure, national safety from people who want to take our lifestyles away from us, and the education of our children. So when Des Moines Public Schools says, you know, we can get a couple $100,000 for this property from a group that wants to build something on it that's perfectly legal and within the boundaries of our planning and zoning laws. When teachers are getting laid off, when school class sizes are growing, when there's not enough books and stuff to go around, the teachers are taking money out of their own pocket to teach your kids, my kids. I'd say 4.4 acres of land where there is, in the middle of a neighborhood where there are many other acres of green space just like that. Sell it. Now you may say, well, Mac, it depends on what they're going to do. You know what? I agree. In this case, the Ewing Land Development and Services, represented by Terrace Real Estate Company, wants to construct an $8.2 million three-story building that would house 44 senior living units and have an underground parking. And it would only be put on the south part of the property, so there would be a lot of green space left for these seniors to be able to enjoy the outside. It isn't going to be high-priced brownstones. We got enough of those sitting empty downtown. It isn't going to be a nightclub or another restaurant or, for God's sakes, another strip mall or grocery store or whatever. It's going to be a senior living center. 44 units. Something that we're going to need a lot more of as we get older. Would I like to see it remain a park? Yeah, of course I would. Of course I would. But in these economic times, we have to look at something very important, and it's called priorities. Priorities. We have to prioritize. I'm sorry. We have our priorities. I can't say the word. I'm sorry. Anyway, we need the money. The Rice Group did get together and somehow got $90,000 together. And they put a bid in on that land for $90,000. The Terrace Real Estate Group has bid $285,000. In 1999, it was valued at $230,000. In 2005, it was valued at $202,000. They've come in and offered $285,000 for 4.4 acres of land that will create jobs, permanent living for seniors in a neighborhood that can desperately need growth and people and activities and jobs. School board, take the money and run. It's a gift. In the new normal, there aren't going to be a lot of gifts. Take the money and run. Sell Rice Field to Terrace. Let them build the senior living center. A couple years down the line, you're going to have that brand new Hy-Vee up at the intersection of Douglas and Beaver, and that community is going to be reinvented. Beaverdale is an amazing community filled with great people. And if there's ever a community in our city limits that deserves an opportunity to get jobs, housing for senior living, it's the Beaverdale area. So, school board, take your $285,000 and run. It's a good deal. All right. Last but not least, before I get done for the day here, and by the way, if I haven't told you, thanks for listening today. Gonna start posting these shows on the website at maxworldlive.com. I'm gonna start blogging with you again. If you don't, if you need to get a hold of me, you know how to do that. You know how to text me or call me or email me. You can go to the website and email me. I put my phone number on the chat. You can always give me a call. My phone number is not a private number. I'm not a big enough deal to hide my phone number. So I know how to shut off my phone so it doesn't ring at the wrong time of the night. You're always welcome to call me. I've never been known as a no comment kind of guy. So be careful what you ask for, because if you ask me a question, you're probably going to get it won't be a Jonathan Narcissus type of answer, but you're going to get a longer answer probably. But I always love to hear from you. Finally, in Des Moines Sunday Register's Metro edition, in the Voices and Commentary, which is one of my favorite places on the Sunday paper, the cartoons, and Best Buy's flyers, because I love Best Buy's flyers. I can't afford to buy anything there anymore, but I sure like the stuff they sell. Don't you love going to Best Buy? Isn't it? It just kind of lifts you. And then you walk around and see all the stuff you want, and you reach in your back pocket, and in the new normal, you got no green. Well, okay, we window shop. You got to walk around and look at the possibilities. I don't know why I need a Blu-ray player anyway. I mean, am I really going to notice a difference between Blu-ray and DVD? I think it's flipping amazing that we went from VHS to DVD. Now, that was an improvement in picture. Blu-ray, my eyes aren't good enough to understand that. My eyes aren't good enough to see, oh, Blu-ray, regular DVD. No, but I still like to go to Best Buy and watch. So, anyway, in the Voices and Commentary, an article written by David Mastio, M-A-S-T-I-O. He is the deputy editorial page editor at the Washington Times. And you can contact him at thewashingtontimes.com. He has a picture there of Barack Obama standing in front of an Iowa flag, a black and gold Iowa flag, which, by the way, I don't think Iowa owns those colors, do they? Isn't the colors belong to everybody? You can't really trademark a color, can you? I mean, if I could do that, I'd trademark blue, and then every time somebody said they were blue, I could charge them. Or I'd trademark pink, and all the people that wear the little pink ribbons for breast cancer, they'd have to pay me. You can't trademark colors, can you? Okay. Barack Obama is standing in front of on a stage at the Fieldhouse in Iowa last Thursday at the University of Iowa campus. Iowa flag flying in the background, and the headline reads, Obama dishes up lies in Iowa City. I'm not sure I'm comfortable calling the president a liar. I didn't like it when they called George Bush a liar. I don't think I like it when they call Barack Obama a liar. Oh, but Mac, if he said something that was untrue, and he knew it was untrue, and he tried to manipulate you by telling you that, that's a lie. You ever had anybody try to do that to you? Have you ever had anybody tell you something that wasn't true to make somebody else look bad, so you choose them over somebody else? Have you ever been manipulated through a lie? And of course you don't know it at the time, because you go, oh, is that true? Oh my, that's terrible. And then see, you have a responsibility to turn around and go, hey, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I got to tell you something you probably don't want to hear, but somebody told me this. And if that's true, I got a real problem with it. Can you tell me? And then see, I'm not going to trust you, or I'm not going to trust the other person. I'm going to trust me. And I'm going to make my own decision on what the truth is. Because ultimately, you can't be responsible for the truth that I believe. And he can't be responsible for the truth that you believe. Only you can be responsible for the truth that you believe. See, truth is something you find yourself. The truth shall set you free. The truth does not come out of someone's mouth. The truth settles into your gut. It finds a little place, someplace inside you, in your head, in your gut, wherever it is you make decisions, maybe both places. And it either feels like it's prickly, and that doesn't sit right, and there's just something about that I don't get. That sounds so odd, so unusual, so unlike him. Or you go, oh, that makes sense. Now I think I know what the truth is. So a lie can sometimes be dressed in the most perfect coat, in the most dazzling colors, in the greatest of smells, scents, tastes, touch, hear, sees, all the senses. It can be done courteously. It can be done with a smile. It can be done with reverence. But when someone tries to manipulate somebody else with lies and character assassination, please have your red flags up. Please have your radar on. If you choose to get in the middle of that, then you probably deserve to be manipulated. You probably deserve to be liked. Because you don't take the time to find out the other side of the story. And then you decide what the truth is. Don't ever let somebody tell you what the truth is. Don't trust without verifying. You say, Mac, I can't live my life without trust. No. 5, 6, 7 months down the road, somebody will say, hey, do you trust him? Do you trust that young lady? Do you trust your neighbor? And you'll go, let me add up all the things that have happened. Yeah, I do trust. Because what you've done then is you've verified the fact that you can trust that person. Because trust is the most valuable and most naive thing that you give away. When you give someone your trust, you give them a tremendous amount of power. And when they manipulate and abuse that trust and betray that trust, it hurts. It hurts every waking moment. It's what wakes you up in the middle of the night. It's the thing you first think of. It's a bad taste, a bad smell, a bad itch that takes a time to get by. Takes some time to get rid of. So when somebody says somebody lies, you damn well better have the proof. This headline says Obama dishes up lies in Iowa City. And when I saw that, I went, ooh, I'm uncomfortable with that. I'm not a big fan of Mr. Obama, but I'm not interested in character assassination. So when this David Mastio, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your name right, David, when he wrote this article, and the headline was Obama dishes up lies in Iowa City, as an American, he was talking about my president. My guy. I didn't vote for him. Damn well sure I'm not going to vote again for him. I didn't vote for him the first time, but I know I won't vote for him in the future. But he is my president. He is my president. And you're going to call him a liar? You better have the moxie to stick up, to stand up, and tell me what you're talking about. And make sure that I can trust when you tell me you just lied. Or that somebody I love lies. Yeah, I love the president. Absolutely. Why wouldn't I love the president? I don't like him sometimes. I don't like what he does. But he's my president. I am an American. Where's my American flag? See, I don't have an American flag in my wife's office. What? Well, imagine I'm waving my American flag here, okay? Imagine I'm an American. And he's my president. And I want no harm to come to him, including character assassinations. That's my new favorite term, by the way. Character assassination. It's when somebody tells you something bad about somebody else, all dressed in roses and good-smelling stuff. But then there's this zing. This, ooh, but you know, bam. That's character assassination. It is not at all what God gave us the ability to talk and to think and to communicate. Had in mind at all. Yeah, oh, yeah. There goes that list of top 10 again. Thou shalt not lie. So when David says President Obama dishes up lies in Iowa City, I'm going to read. Here's what it said. Very well written, by the way. If there was ever any doubt, President Barack Obama has made crystal clear that the political debate in the months after passing health care reform is going to be just as stupid and dishonest as it was in the months before the law passed. Let me tell you something. When a journalist uses the word stupid and dishonest, he ain't beating around the bush. Stupid and dishonest are words that clearly define an action or a behavior. When you call someone's actions stupid or their words stupid, you're saying they're ignorant. They're malicious. When you say they're dishonest, wow, oh my gosh, really? I mean, I heard the liberals calling George Bush a liar and dishonest, and it never sat right with me. Well, this doesn't sit right with me yet either. But I read on, because I want to get the whole story. You get me? I don't want to just read the headline that says Obama dishes up lies in Iowa City and go, oh, you know, I read it in the paper, Obama was lying in Iowa City. No. I have a responsibility to those people involved to go get both sides of the story, to go get the truth. Let me read on. In his Iowa City speech last week, the president continued with two of his administration's biggest lies. Quote, they will see that if Americans like their doctor, they will keep their doctor. If people like their plan, they will keep their plan. No one will be able to take that away from you. Unquote. That's what Barack Obama said to the world. David writes on. Yet he has already admitted that isn't quite true. The government is rewriting the rules for every health care plan in the country. They will all change. As the rules change, doctors will reconsider which plans they participate in, as will hospitals and medical groups. Businesses will make decisions based on new rules about what plans they offer and whether they offer insurance at all. Nobody knows how the 2,000-page legislation will play out in the market, but one thing we know is that there will be lots of changes. To claim otherwise is a lie. There he goes again. There's that word. Telling me my president lied. I believe in this president, says some. Some are offended by anyone even thinking that the president would lie. Some, like myself, are just uncomfortable that we might call the president a liar or dishonest. Some people like comfort zones. They like to believe that, quote unquote, that person would never lie to me. That person would never tell me something that isn't true. That person wouldn't manipulate me through my relationship by telling me something that isn't true so I could be on their side. David clearly is saying here about the president, and I quote, to claim otherwise is a lie. Let's read on. But it is a lie that he had to tell. For all the complaining about America's soon-to-be former health care system, it provided health coverage for the vast majority of Americans, and the vast majority of Americans who were covered liked their coverage and liked their current doctor. Which leads us to the second flagrant lie in Iowa City. Oh, David. So now it's not just a slip of the tongue, and I guess he didn't tell the truth, but now you're telling me there's more? It's not just one? There's more than one lie? Yeah, see, a liar ties all the lies together. And he watches how you react to one, and then he tells you another, and another, and another. And pretty soon you believe those lies to be true. And by the time you find out they're not true, many, many times it's too late. Many, many times there are life-changing consequences for you to have believed the lies. They send you down the wrong path. In this case, with the president, he told us he could fix health care. He told us reform would be good. He told us I could keep Dr. Zittiger. He told me I could keep going to Methodist if I wanted to. Iowa Health Systems could be my place. Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield would be my insurance company. He told me that. This is my health care. This isn't the kind of car I drive. I don't care if it's government motors. I care a little bit more that the government has now regulated and taken over so much of the financial industry that it's not even funny. The automobile industry, the pharmaceutical companies, now insurance and health care. But you're lying to me all the way down the road? The only way you can get me on board is to lie to me? If you want me to join your club, you can't be honest enough to tell me what the heck's going on? You gotta lie? Really, Mr. President? David writes on. Which leads us to the second flagrant lie in Iowa City. By the way, flagrant means on purpose. Meant to lie. They meant to deceive. They meant to manipulate. They meant to take advantage of you, to take something from you. What does he want to take? He wants to take the truth. Because just like Jack Nicholson said, he can't handle the truth. The truth doesn't make him look the way he wants it to be. So he lies. And he smiles. And he does character assassination against the old healthcare system. He said, quote, "I want seniors to know, despite what some have heard and some have said, these reforms will not cut your guaranteed Medicare benefits." Okay, you know, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But guess what? I even know that's not true. I'm not even a senior yet, and I know that's not true. I barely pay attention, and I know that's not true. Look, I don't have stupid written on my forehead. David writes on. The president's argument is that he's going to be able to magically cut $500 billion from projected Medicare spending while expanding Medicare drug coverage and not cut any other benefits. Is that a lie? David writes on. How do I know this is a lie? When Republicans ran Washington, they made the same stupid argument when they were cutting Medicare. Democrats quietly called them on it. Don't get me wrong. Taxing the young and relatively poor to provide free health care for the old and relatively rich is foolish. We shouldn't just cut it. We should stop it altogether. But everyone in Washington wants to pretend that we don't need to. Since President Obama provided a full helping of dishonesty in Iowa City, it was left to the Republicans to serve up the stupidity. The official Republican National Committee response to his speech pointed out that when Obama spoke in Iowa about health care, quote-unquote, reform, during the campaign, he promised that his reforms would cover a lot more people who are currently uninsured than the new law actually helps. That's true enough, but the single biggest reason that's the case is because Obama allowed the reform law to be changed to satisfy Republicans on one key point. Illegal aliens are not allowed to benefit from Obama's reforms as Democrats had originally proposed. In short, Republicans think it's okay to lambaste the president for doing what they asked him to do. Why? The president might reasonably ask. Why? Why would he ever want to do something his political opponents ask him to do? David writes on. Now that the law is passed, nothing about the debate is really going to change. It's going to be just as loud and just as foolish all the way through November's elections, and then it won't end there. Then we'll have to fight over repealing or reforming the law. And the best we can hope for is a new set of lies. So when you're being lied to now about what's going on, you can better believe that when that doesn't work right and those lies are proved to be true, they'll just come up with more lies. There'll just be a whole nother set of lies dished out at us. And they'll say, oh, we're sorry. Mr. Obama will say, we're sorry. Here's what I meant to say. And it'll be 180, at least 90% different. You can't trust anybody unless you verify. What David did in this article was verify. He didn't listen to the rhetoric. He didn't listen to the smooth presentation, the shiny thing in the corner. He didn't get into the hype, the cheerleading, the jumping up and down. He said, ooh, Mr. President, I can keep my own doctor. I can keep my own hospital. I can keep my own medical plan. That's what I want. But before he said thank you, he looked up to see if that was possible, if that could be true. And David sadly found out that it couldn't be true because he verified. There's way too many people right now walking around this country in the new normal asking for your trust. Act like it is your children. Act like your trust is your most valued possession. Do not give it away without verifying. We just gave away our healthcare system. No, it wasn't perfect. It was the best in the world. And now, because of somebody's lies, we're going to change direction. We're going to change courses. Change places that we share our passions. Change the places we take our children to the doctor. Make sure you verify what's being said, just as David did in this article. Make sure you don't have stupid written on your forehead so clearly that any old bird can see it. Your trust is the most valuable gift you can give. Please make it priceless. Have a great day. It is Maundy, Thursday. Maundy, I believe, means the day of remembrance. It is the day that we remember Jesus gathering his 12 disciples, and some say Mary Magdalene also, to what we call the Last Supper. It is the place where Jesus raised a chalice filled with wine and raised unleavened bread and said, eat, drink of my blood and eat of my flesh. This is the body that I give to you. Do this in remembrance of me. It's Holy Week. It is a week of rebirth. It is a week of reflection. It is a week in which the greatest thing in the Christian religion ever happened. And that's God himself came to earth, gave himself free will, and roamed this planet for 33 years to discover what free will does to man. And what Jesus figured out is that it causes us to sin. So he died on that cross. 3 days previous to him dying, the same crowd that was yelling, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest, he is our King. 3 days later, they were yelling, crucify him, crucify him, crucify him. Today, we celebrate the remembrance of that Last Supper. Tomorrow is Good Friday. It is the day they crucified Jesus. And on Sunday, we celebrate his rebirth and the forgiveness of all of our ill-fated sins and our ill-fated ways and our ill-fated lives. Have a great day. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and if I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I love this job, and I couldn't do it without you. Right here at MaxWorldLive.com. Good day.